Netanyahu got the call. Netanyahu was in London coordinating these terror attacks. I don't understand how people are so naive to what we are dealing with. These people planted bombs and pagers that blew up innocent men, women, and children indiscriminately. They carpet bomb, they kill everything. They just people don't. They just think, oh, there's that really scary brown guy. He's evil. Do you know who's really at it? This guy. Do you know what? There was no Islamic terrorism until the 1980s and 1990s. Do you know why there was no Islamic terrorism? Because all anti-Western sentiment was under pan-Arab nationalism. You had Baathism in Syria, Iraq. You had the PLO, which was a non-Islamic organization. And then in the 1980s, Benjamin Netanyahu, Likud, everyone else in the 90s, Paul Wolfowitz, Irving Kristol, all these right-wing Jews all started pushing the counter-jihad narrative. Who funded the Mujahideen in Afghanistan? Who gave them all their weapons? The CIA under Mossad instructions. That's where it started. They pushed this. They fomented it. Most of these Al-Qaeda cells, training cells, a lot of them are actually crypto Jews. A lot of them have been brainwashed to pushing this shite. Again, this isn't to say that there is not a problem with Islam. There is incompatible with Europe. But international terrorism is a byproduct of an international criminal cabal.
When was the last fucking Sikh, Hindu, Christian, Jew radical terror attack? When did that take place? On the streets of the UK. I can't remember.
It's not about upsetting people. It is about telling them the truth. And the truth is, none of these terror attacks are just some random group of Muslims who just get together and blow people up. They're not sophisticated enough for that. Maybe like your mass stabbings or your car, some mentally ill nut job, fine. But these highly sophisticated terror attacks are either run by the security services under the instruction of Zog, or they just let it happen. Immigrants did this, never forget. But that's not really true. Our own people did this. Just remember, Nick, just remember this as well, right? Osama bin Laden on the day of 9/11 denied he did it. This was some exceptionally unwell guy living in a cave in Afghanistan. Just garbage, just lies. It really, really is. Peter Power 7/7 terror rehearsal.
Today we were running an exercise for a company, bearing in mind I'm now in the private sector, and we sat everybody down in the city, 1,000 people involved in the whole organization, but the crisis team. And the most peculiar thing was we based our scenario on the simultaneous attacks on the Underground and mainline station. So we had to suddenly switch an exercise from fictional to real. And one of the first things is get that bureau number when you have a list of...
So they were running a terror exercise that day. Wow, what are the chances of that?
People missing, tell them. And so it took a long time.
Just to get this right, you were actually working today on an exercise that envisioned virtually this scenario.
Almost precisely. I was up until 2 o'clock this morning because it's our job, my own company, Advisor Consultants. We specialize in helping people to get their crisis management response. How do you jump from slow time thinking to quick time doing? And we chose a scenario with their assistance, which is based on a terrorist attack because they're very close to a property occupied by Jewish businessmen. They're in the city, and there are more American banks in the city than there are in the whole of New York. A logical thing to do. And I've still got the...
I was going to say, how extraordinary today must feel for you as it unfolds. You mentioned...
Oh my goodness, the sheer coincidence.
Moments ago there, our experience with Irish Republican terrorism. And of course, it was very different, wasn't it? Because however perverted their behaviour, the IRA believed itself to have some sort of code of honour and tended to issue warnings, although of course they often came late to do any good. But...
issue today...
Wow. I mean, again, if you even do the slightest analysis of any of these attacks, you know it's bullshit. Coincidence of bomb exercises. This is on Channel 4. It began when Peter Power, one-time high-ranking employee of Scotland Yard, a member of its anti-terrorist branch, reported in 2 UK media outlets that its company Visor Consulting had on the morning of July the 7th been conducting crisis exercise, where scenarios uncannily mirrored those of the actual attack. Power appeared to claim the exercises involved 1,000 people as well as a dedicated crisis team. Just incredible. Incredible. Questions over 7-7 bombers' trip to Israel. Khan was in Israel weeks before the 2 UK men bombed a Tel Aviv bar. Are you trying to tell me that this
2
guy,
years before the 7/7
all of a
attacks,
sudden,
Britain's first suicide bombers
just got into the most heavily guarded and surveilled country in the world? Yeah, sure.
struck Tel Aviv, April 2003, 3 dead and more than 50 injured. The attack carried out by 2 men from Hounslow and Derby. Now, for the first time, questions are being asked about whether apparent links between this attack in Tel Aviv and the July 7th London bombings have ever been properly investigated. Lead 7/7 bomber Mohammed Sadiq Khan had been on the surveillance radar from as early as 2001. But an inquest into the London attacks found British intelligence and police could not have reasonably been expected to have identified him as an imminent threat. Yet a potentially crucial fact was missing from the inquest's deliberations, one confirmed by senior Israeli security officials.
Because it's all been said before by far more.
Mohammed Sadiq Khan had visited Israel for a single day in February 2003, just weeks before the Mike's Place attack. The timing has never been accounted for in any of the public investigations into his background.
Wow, what do you think he was over there doing? He was over there getting instructions from Mossad. The most important leaders of the world were all in the United Kingdom at the time, right? All of them, Putin, George Bush, everyone. And you're honestly trying to tell me these guys just went into central London and blew themselves up? There would have been rings of steel everywhere. And we're just meant to believe this. What a load of absolute baloney. I mean, it is incredible. It really, really is. Netanyahu was going to London hotel near blast. Israeli Finance Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had been on his way to a London hotel near the scene of one of the 4 blasts that ripped through the city, said Foreign Minister Silvan Shalom. Netanyahu was a scheduled keynote speaker at an Israeli corporate investment conference at the Great Eastern Hotel near the Liverpool Street subway station. After the first explosion, our finance minister received a request not to go anywhere. Netanyahu had been scheduled to stay in London until Sunday, but that could change. Conference participants were evacuated from the hotel. Shalom speculated that attackers might have taken advantage of the fact other police resources were diverted to a meeting of Western leaders. Every accusation is a confession. You stupid, stupid, stupid guys. London, Bush and Mossad, 19 years ago. It's become a familiar part of the post-tragedy landscape. A shocking explanation. Then the conspiracy theory, or is it all just a cock-up? Claiming that Israeli Finance Minister Benjamin Netanyahu mysteriously cancelled his appearance at a London conference that morning because he had some kind of warning that attacks were coming. Later it emerged that Netanyahu had indeed chosen to stay in his London hotel room, but only because the explosions had already happened. His security advisors decided it was too risky for him to venture out. Once again, that has not stopped the wild-eyed conspiracy theorists. Iranian state radio's first guess was that Mossad, the Israeli secret service, was behind it all. Well, guess what? The Iranian state radio was 100% correct. There you go, straight away. Former Israeli PM, 3 steps to deal with terror. I don't think we have to give any advice to the British government. The largest issue is the challenge we face. Israel did all these terror attacks. Israel did all these bombings. To this very day, everyone still believes this narrative.